نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I once again hope that all of you are good, in the best of your health, and thank you for joining again in day 7 of Surah Mulk course. We will be doing inshallah ayah number 7 with Tajweed, and we'll continue the rules of Noon Sakin and Tanween. So yes, everybody, because our today's ayah, which is ayah number 7, is also very short ayah. So we'll try to cover the two rules of Noon Sakin and Tanween today. Why two rules? Because the two rules for today are very easy, inshallah. We covered the two rules, right? We covered two rules, and there are two rules remaining because there are four rules of Noon Sakin and Tanween, right? We were doing the rules of Noon Sakin and Tanween. We did two rules, which first one was Izhar Halki, the second one was called Idgham, and today we will do the third rule, which is called Iqlab. So let's do this because this rule is very easy, inshallah. The name of the rule is Iqlab, and as usual, I say that you're not supposed to worry about the name of the rule too much. Okay, just remember the concept or the letters. So this rule is called Iqlab. Iqlab means to change. So this word comes from the Arabic word qalb, like the qaf lam ba, qalb, which simply means heart. So the condition, like our heart, the condition of it changes, right? Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are sad. So our heart keeps on changing the feelings of heart. So that is how this term is from the word qalb, and this is iqlab, which just means to change. So let's see what changes in this rule, because these are rules of Noon Sakin and Tanween. So yes, if after Noon Sakin or Tanween comes letter ba, right, the letter ba, then we change the sound of letter Noon, this Noon, right, the Noon that comes, this Noon, to Meme. Very simple, right? If after Noon Sakin or Tanween comes letter ba, then we simply change the sound of the Noon to letter Meme. Okay, let's see the examples. Okay, so first of all, I've written the examples here for Noon Sakin. So you see this word here, like mim ba'di. So here in this example, there is this Noon Sakin, right? I have written it above as well. There is this Noon Sakin, and after Noon Sakin comes letter Ba. So what do? We will change the sound of this Noon Sakin here to Mim. And how we will do this is that this was min sound, and I am changing it to mim. N sound to m sound. N to m. So these are very closer sounds, so it might be difficult to hear via the Zoom, but still this letter noon is changed to meme here. So we will say mim ba'di. Okay, so you see, I've just written here as well that there are two ways to change the sound of noon here to meme. The first way is simple, that you change the noon here to meme. So the meme is articulated by simply joining the two lips, right? The m sound, m, is simply articulated by joining the two lips. But what happens that you can join the two lips, but very lightly. You will not join the two lips with strength to say mim, mim. You will not join them with strength. Okay, that you will just join them together, and that will be very softly, very lightly, and you will say the meme sound here. Okay, the second way is that some I heard some qaris on internet that they say that you're supposed to keep some space between the two lips, which is very little space. Like they say, the space of a paper. If you put the paper between the two lips, just that very minute difference, and then you say the letter meme, like m. So in this case, second case, the sound of meme will not be that prominent as well, neither the sound of noon will be prominent. It will be just something in between. You will just say mew, like mew. Okay, so mim ba'di or mim ba'di. So they are very close sound. It's your choice, whatever is easy for you. Okay, so the next example is فأنبتنا. Right? So again, there is noon sakin here, and after noon sakin, there is this letter ba. So again, we will hide the, we'll change the sound of noon to meme. And you see this little meme written in Quran as well. You will find this meme written. So even if you don't remember the rule, still you will know that why this meme is written, because you are supposed to say this meme instead of the letter written below it, which is noon, right? So now just remember this concept. This is the rule of iqlab, and we will say فَأَنبَتْنَا, right? فَأَنبَتْنَا. Okay, so let's see the examples with tanween, right? So this example is لَنَسْفَعًا بِالنَّاصِيَةِ, right? So in this example, this word was actually like this: لَنَسْفَعًا, an, right? The two slanting lines on letter ain, which is tanween of fatha. This was like this, but because after this tanween, there was this letter ba in the next word, right? So we had to change the sound of the noon to meme. But we cannot see any noon here in an, but because a noon sakin is hidden in this tanween as well, right? So I have just written in this way. I have just written in this way: an, ain, fatha, noon, an. This is same, right? An or an. So you see a noon sakin hidden in this, and yes, we will change this noon sakin to meme, right? And we will say la nasfa'an bin nasiyah, right? So I said, rather than an, I said an bin nasiyah. Let's see the next example, which is يومئذ بجهنم. Okay, so in this example again, there was this tanween below the letter dal here. يومئذ. This was this. But because there is this letter ba afterwards in bi jahannam, so we had to change the tanween, we had to change the noon sakin in this tanween to meme. And we will say يومئذ rather than يومئذ. Okay, يومئذ بجهنم. Okay, I hope that this is making a bit sense to you. There are some more examples. So let's quickly move from these as well. This is an example like mim ba'di. In this example again, there is noon sakin, and after that there is this letter ba. So we will just say mim ba'di rather than min ba'di. So again, in the next example, min baqaliha. Again, noon sakin. After that, there is ba. We will change the sound of noon to meme and say min ba. Okay, min baqaliha. Right? We will not say min baqaliha. This is min baqaliha. Okay. Abadan bima. Abadan. Right? Abadan bima. Okay, there is this tanween. Tanween has a hidden noon sakin in it, and after that there is this letter ba. So we will, change that noon sakin to meme. I have written like this here as well. This was done, and we will just change it to dam, dam. Right. In the next example, nafsin bima. There is this tanween below letter sin. This is nafsin, so we had to change it to sin. Why? Because after that there is letter ba in bima. Okay, nafsin bima. Okay, mufatirun bihi. Okay, in this example, there is tanween on letter ra. This was run, and we had to change it to rum, rum, because there is letter ba afterwards. And the last example, Mew bunny, mew, right? The sound of meme instead of noon sakin here, because there is letter ba after words in bunny. Okay, mew bunny. Okay. Okay, so we will do another rule as well, because for the previous rule you had to only remember the one letter, which is ba, right? So we will do this next rule as well, which is the final and fourth rule of Noon Sakin and Tanween, and this rule is called ikhfa. Okay, so this ikhfa word of Arabic means to hide. Okay, to hide or conceal. So what we will hide, let's see in the in the definition of it, that if after Noon Sakin or Tanween comes any letter except the six letters of throat. Okay, so just remember the first rule of Noon Sakin and Tanween here. In the first rule of Noon Sakin and Tanween, we read the six letters of throat, right? For the first rule, we read the six letters of throat, which were Hamza, Ha, Ain, Ha, Ghain, and Kha. So, we had to remember the six letters. Okay, so this rule says that if after Noon Sakin or Tanween come any letter except those letters of the first rule, and then except the six letters of idgham, which is the second rule, right? The letters of idgham were six again, which were ya, ra, mim, lam, waw, noon, right? The six letters of yarm, loon, of the idgham rule. Okay, we will exclude these letters as well. Okay, so letter ba, except letter ba, which is the third rule we did just now, which is called iqlab. Okay, so we have removed the six letters of throat, the six letters of the second rule idgham, the one letter of the third rule ba, and an extra letter here, which is alif. So yes, we have like 15 letters remaining. So whenever any letter from these 15 letters come after Noon Sakin or Tanween, then we will hide the sound of Noon. Okay, and how we will hide it is that we'll make a nasal sound. We will see in the example as well, inshallah. So yes, just quickly remember, like revise this rule for now, is that whenever after Noon Sakin or Tanween comes any letter except the six letters of the first rule, which were letters of throat, the six letters of the second rule, which were again six letters, the ba letter, which was the letter of the third rule, iqlab, and alif. Then we have these 15 remaining letters. So whenever we will see the, Noon Sakin and Tanween, we will quickly see the next letters. We will just see that if it is from the six letters of throat, okay. If it is, or if it is not, right? Then we will like quickly see if it is from these six letters, or if it is from the ba or alif, and then we will apply the rule based on that. Okay, let's see the example, inshallah. Okay, so these are the remaining 15 letters. I have written here as well that if they will come after Noon Sakin or Tanween, then what we will do is that we will hide the sound of Noon. Why we will hide? Because the rule says, which is ikhfa, we will hide the sound of Noon. Okay, the first example is antum. Okay, so this was antum. Because there is noon sakin here, the sound will be like antum. But because there is this letter ta after noon sakin, right? And ta is from these 15 letters, right? These letters, excluding the letters of six letters of throat, excluding the six letters of idgham rule, excluding ba, and excluding the alif letter, you will not see these letters here, right? And then these 15 letters, from these 15 letters, there is this ta after noon sakin, so we will hide the sound of noon here. And we will say antum rather than antum. Okay. How I am doing this is that I'm staying for a bit on this noon sakin sound here. I'm saying um antum, and that is how we will make ikhfa. Let's see the next example, which is laylatan thumma. Laylatan thumma. Okay, so there is this tanween here on letter tha, and after this tanween there is letter tha here. This letter tha here. So we will hide the sound of noon sakin hidden in this tanween and say laylatan. Right? I'm not saying tan. I'm not saying laylatan. I am saying laylatan thumma. right? So yes, quickly see the next example. Min ju'in. Okay, so there is this noon sakin here in min, and after this noon sakin, we see a letter j. This is not a letter of throat, right? Neither this is the letter of the second rule idgham, and this is not letter ba as well, and this is not letter alif as well. Yes, this is the letter, excluding all these letters, we have Jim here. Okay, so we are going to hide the sound of Noon Sakin here and say Min Ju'in, right? I'm not saying Min Ju'in. Okay, the next example. An da'autukum. An, I'm not saying an. An da'autukum. But rather I will hide the sound of noon here and say why? Because there is dal afterwards, right? You see a dal here from these 15 letters. Da'utukum. Okay. Nafsin dha'iqah. Okay. Nafsin, sin. I'm not saying nafsin dha'iqah. Why? Because after, the tanween of this sin, there is letter zal here. This letter zal here. So I will hide the sound of noon sakin hidden in this tanween of sin and say nafsin dha'iqah. Right? So in the next example, there is فَمَن زُحْزِحَ فَمَن زُحْزِحَ. Okay, again there is noon sakin here, and after this noon sakin, there is this letter z. Okay, so we will hide the sound like فَمَن زُحْزِحَ. Okay, so in the next example, how we'll say it? We will say خَمْسَةٌ سَادِسُهُمْ, right? خَمْسَةٌ سَادِسُهُمْ. Okay, in the next example, عذابا شديدا عذابا شديدا. I'm not saying عذابا شديدا. Okay, I'm hiding the sound of noon hidden in this tanween, right? Noon sakin. عذابا شديدا. Okay. رجال صدقوا رجال صدقوا, right? Again there is this tanween on this letter lam, and after this tanween there is this letter sad here. So that is why I'm going to hide the sound of noon sakin hidden in this tanween like this. رجال صدقوا. Okay, everybody, we have like completed these four rules of noon sakin and tanween. We will inshallah quickly revise these four rules inshallah tomorrow as well, so that things become more clear to you inshallah. Let's quickly move on to our ayah for today, which is ayah number 7. Okay, let's say ta'awuz and tasmiyah first of all. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Right? The ha of Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim should be prominent. إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور. Right? So إذا, okay, this first word here is إذا. Simply, first alphabet is Hamza letter with a kasra, so we will just say إذا, right? إذا. So the second letter here is letter Dal here. So Dal letter is articulated when we put the tip of our tongue at the tip of our upper teeth very softly, okay, and say the. This letter has no buzzing sound, okay? This is not z. the. Rather, this is a very soft letter with no, vibration or no buzzing sound in it. And we will say the. إذا. Okay, why I am stretching the sound of the here? Because of the reason there is a symbol of a mud you see here, right? The symbol is of mud, and mud simply means, stretching, you to stretch. So we are stretching here, and how do we know for how long we have to do this? So, I told you in the previous one of the previous lessons that we will see that if the mad and hamza they come in the same word, this mad symbol and the hamza afterwards. This hamza, you see this hamza written in another way as well, and also whenever there is this alif with any symbol on it of fatha, dhamma, or kasra, that too is hamza. Okay, you're not supposed to say that, oh, this is a lip here. This is also hamza because this has this symbol of dhamma on it, right? So whenever this mud, and you will have to see what hamza after it is coming in the same word or not. So, let's see first of all here in this word here, either there is this mud, right? And the hamza afterwards is coming in the next word of ulqu, right? So when the mud and the hamza are in the different words, so it is your choice. Either you want to stretch this mud for 2 counts or for 4 counts, right? Let's repeat it for one more time. That you will have to see if the mud or hamza is in the same word or not. So in this case, the mad and hamza are in two different words, right? Of idha there is mad, and in ulqu there is hamza, right? After mad. So it is your choice. Either you want to stretch this mad for 2 counts or for 4 counts. You can say like idha ulqu or idha ulqu, right? So your choice. إذا ألقوا. Again, there is this hamza here with dhamma, so you will simply say u, and because the lam letter has the symbol of sakin on it, so sakin means that you have to join this letter with the previous one and say ul, right? Ulqu, qu. Okay, so qu, qaf letter here, right? Qaf, the heavy qaf. This letter is articulated when you touch the back of your tongue to the soft palate with strength and say qu, qu. This is not ku. This is not the light letter ku. Rather, this is a heavy letter, and so the back part of your tongue will be raised as well to say qu. Qu, ulqu. Also, again, I'm stretching the sound of qu here for 2 counts. Why I am doing this? Because there is this waw sakin after qu sound. So waw sakin here, this is called waw madda. So mad means like stretch. So we will stretch this for 2 counts. Qu, ulqu, fiha, fi and ha. Again, the sound of fi and ha for 2 counts. I'm not saying fiha, fiha, right? This is not like, I'm not saying this fi for 1 count. This is fiha. Why I'm saying this? Because again, there is this letter ya sakin after the fa, and there is this alif after ha, so their sounds will be stretched for 2 counts, okay? Fiha. Okay, this is very simple, sound. Fa, you must be familiar with this sound, right? When you put the tip of your tongue, sorry, when you put the tip of your upper teeth to the lower lips, and air comes out of your mouth, and you say fa, fa, fiha. Okay, so this ha comes from the portion of throat that is near to the chest, right? The lower portion. And you say ha, ha. Very easy sound, right? Fiha. Okay. Sami'u, sami'u, sa. Sa sound. Yes, this sa has this whistle sound in it, and air comes out of your mouth when you say sa. This letter is articulated, right? When the tip of the tongue it touches the back of the two front upper teeth as well as the two front lower teeth, like the back of these two like teeth, right? The tip of your tongue touches this area. That is how you say sa. And also your, teeth come closer to this to say this sound. Sa, sa, sami'u, sami'u. Very simple sound. Me, just joining the two lips together and flattening them a bit more and say me, u. Okay, sami'u. Okay, again in this sound, u, I'm stretching for two counts. Why? Because of this wow sakin after u sound. Okay, so this letter Ain comes from the middle portion of throat, right? And this is not Hamza. The sound of it is not like ooh sound. This is not the sound of this letter. We'll make the sound from the middle portion of throat with some effort, right? And say ooh, ooh, sami'u, laha, laha, la sound, like la, just simply tip of the tongue when you touch that with the hard palate and say la, laha, ha sound. Again, this ha comes from the portion of throat that is the lower one, right? Laha shahiqan, shahiqa. Okay, so yes, this sound is sh, sound, right? Shahiqan, shahiqan. Okay, again, this letter ha is repeated here. He, and we are stretching it again because of this ya sakin afterwards, right? Which is called ya madda. Okay, he qaw, qaf letter again, this heavy qaf, right? Of qu, qaw, qaw, wahiya. Okay, so you see a tanween here on letter qaf, right? So we did the rules, right? And so you are supposed to think of this rule as well for your own as on your own as well, right? But just let me say this again as well, that you see a tanween here. So let's remember the rules. The first rule says that whenever after nun sakin or tanween comes any letter of throat, there were six letters of throat, which were hamza, ha, ain, ha, ghain, kha. So, this waw is not from them. Let's see the second rule of idgham, which says that whenever after nun sakin or tanween comes any letter from these six letters, which are ya, ra, mim, lam, waw, noon. So yes, this is the second rule of noon sakin and tanween, which is called which is called is this is called idgham rule, right? Idgham means like you are entering the sound of one letter in the next. You are joining these two together. How you will do this is that you will say qa, qa, and wa here, qawa, qawwa, right? So yes, this is very simple. Shahiqan wa hiya tafur. So wahiya, this is very simple. Wa letter with fatha, he letter with kasra, and ya. Wahiya, wahiya. This ya letter is articulated when when the middle portion of your tongue it touches the palate, right? And say ya, ya. Wahiya. Okay, so tafur, tafur. Ta letter, very simple, tip of the tongue. It touches the back of your upper teeth and you say ta. This is a light letter, okay? Ta and fur, fur. Okay, so the next letter is fa, fu here. Ta, fu. This letter is articulated when the tip of your upper teeth it touches the lower lips and air is removed from your mouth and you say foo, foo. Again, you are stretching this sound for two counts. Why? Because there is this waw sakin after the dhamma of fa, right? This is waw madda. So you will say tafu, tafur, right? So yes, at the end there is letter ra with dhamma on it, and you will make this ra heavy and say tafur, right? At the end, the ra will be heavy. Tafur. Okay, that is it for the ayah. Okay, we completed our target for today as well. Let's see, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Walaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma, Allahumma faqihna fid din, Allahumma hasibna hisaban yasira, amin summa amin. So I hope that all the dear sisters are doing well with their health and with their iman, mashallah, and Allah keep you in afia, I mean in His peace and in His security, inshallah. So we are up to look at the ayah number 7 today, the verse 7 today, which has, which actually is the continuation of the verse 6 that we started yesterday. And the verse 6 made the use of Jahannam. That same Jahannam is being explained a little more. And instead of the word Jahannam being repeated here, the pronouns for Jahannam are used here. Like ha, this ha is a pronoun for Jahannam, then ha again, and hiya. And Jahannam in Arabic is taken as a feminine noun. So these ha pronouns used for Jahannam actually are all feminine. So first of all, we look at the meanings of the words iza. Iza means when. Iza has something to do with time. Basically, this thing will happen in future, but in Quran, most of the future events are stated as if they are already done. And why this style is adopted? Because what Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has planned for time yet to come is actually as certain as it is already done. So that's why the future events are referred to as past events in Quran. So when Iza means when, ulku, they were cast or they were put. So basically they will be, according to English or other languages, this event has yet to take place and they will be ulku, means they will be thrown, they will be flung in the fire of hell. But Quran says that it is something so certain as if they already were or they already are thrown in the flames of fire. Ida ulku fiha. And ha pronoun, a feminine pronoun, is used for Jahannam. As I told you, that Jahannam is a feminine noun in Arabic, and as it is used with a preposition before it, so this is ha form. It has to do something with the grammar, and I'm not going too much into the detail of grammar right now. So when they will be thrown, flung in the fire, the flames of Jahannam, and who will be flung there? This they actually are the disbeliever, walillazina kafaru, that we discussed yesterday. So they basically is the pronoun for the disbelievers, those who did kufr. They will be thrown in the flames of fire. Same'u laha shahikan. But before Same'u, they will hear. Before they will be thrown in the fire, they will hear the shahik, the sound of Jahannam, the sound of flames, burning fire, of fire, the sound of blaze. And even the sound would be enough to upset them, and it would be kind of indication for them that whatever treatment they are going to meet next isn't going to be something really pleasant for them. So this shahiq of Jahannam will prepare them mentally for something really horrible. The sight of Jahannam would be enough. And then this shahiq sound of Jahannam will add to their state of fear. Wahiya tafur, and wahiya hiya again is a pronoun used for Jahannam, a feminine pronoun. And she will be, in this particular state, the state of tafur. Jahannam would be shahiq, means producing this sound or noise, and it should be in that state of tafur, which is a state of extreme anger or boiling. When someone is in extreme anger, it seems that they are boiling with anger. So such would be the condition with the hellfire at that moment. So this is the word to word meaning of the verse. I And let's look at the idiomatic meaning of it now. When they will be plunged into its fire, they shall hear its roaring and boiling. So yesterday we saw that they would be made to observe, they would be made to see the hellfire. And they would feel that it's going to be a permanent destination and abode for them. And now they're brought closer, and the time is drawing closer for them to be thrown in the fire of hell now. So basically, these are the people who did kufr, who did disbelief, and they are referred to here that they will be thrown in the fire of hell. They will be thrown because no one would like to walk into the fiery, valleys of hell. Hell isn't something that people would walk into it really very easily. First, they would be humiliated and in a very insulting way, just as a criminal is chained and handcuffed before putting in the cell, before putting in the prison, he is humiliated. So these people, the disbelievers, will be humiliated in the most shameful way, and they would be dragged in a most humiliating way and then thrown into the flames of hellfire. And before they could, feel that touch of fire on their skin, that burning sensation of fire, they would be made to hear the sound of hell. That in itself would be a great torment. It would be, greatly agonizing for them, because hell on that day would really be very angry and would be kind of in a mood that it would be demanding its fuel. And we are told in Quran and the narrations of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the fuel of hell actually are the human beings and stones. And whenever human beings or stones would be thrown in the fire, it will just, spark like something. The added fuel will actually increase that amount of fire in the hell. And the monstrous hell actually would be hungry for that fuel. And it would, the very sight of the hell would be just enough for the disbeliever that what actually is going to happen to them. So, it's not that the punishment of the hell fire is going to be the real punishment. Even the sight of it, even the sound of it, even the feeling, the waiting period, that very soon they are going to be thrown in this fire would be equally agonizing and full of pain for them. And the three keywords from this ayat today are ulku, and the next is shaheed and the food. These are the three, keywords. Ulku means they won't be invited in that fire. Or they won't be, just walking in, as I told before, rather tossed and flung. As in old days, when people didn't have these facilities as we enjoy in our homes now, they would just burn the fire with woods. They would use woods as fuel, and they would flung the pieces or chips of wood into that big fire that they use for cooking or for other purposes. So like that, those chips of woods, the people would be thrown in the fire of hell, and they would be heard from a distance. So this is how they will be treated. And this treatment will be rendered to the disbeliever, once again, as mentioned before, because of their pride and because of their arrogance. Pride and arrogance actually is something that nobody likes. Even if somebody tries to be proud or shows arrogance towards his fellow human beings, that is something really negative. But they're not showing their pride and their arrogance to their fellow human beings. They are showing this thing to the prophets of Allah. They are arrogant towards them. And they challenge the prophets of Allah and they challenge Allah the Almighty Himself. And it is their stubbornness which would be responsible for this humiliating treatment. But their pride and arrogance on that day will be, it will be changed into the shrieks of mercy and appeals and pledges for forgiveness. But Allah would just say, hus, hus, which means just go away, run away. And I would like to talk to you. Hasian is the word already used. It's a word of great disdain, hatred for someone. Not only the hell would be really very angry on that day, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself. And when they would be making these appeals and pledges to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Almighty won't be in any mood to listen to them. Because of the seriousness, because of the gravity of their sins. So this is, this treatment or these words of the surah actually, they have a great lesson for us. And they actually hold a mirror to us. Because arrogance is something really very commonly found amongst the human beings. And feeling proud and, puffed up and having such feelings of superiority. These things basically don't suit to a human being. Being the abd or slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Actually, these are not made for us. Kibriyai. Kibriyai is an Urdu word made from Arabic word kibr. Kibr means greatness. Allah says that kibr is my domain. And whosoever tries to snatch it from me, I will drag him to the fire of hell. So takabur, kibr, assuming that we are something great or better than others, the same sin or the same crime that the Satan committed doesn't suit to human beings at all. And is one of the things responsible for this, great humiliation in the end. So may Allah save us from this type of attitude and having this type of, behavior with our fellow human beings. And the next word is shahiq. Shahiq is this particular sound that hellfire will be making. And it's actually, the word basically is used for the braying of a donkey. The particular sound the donkey makes. It's kind of inhaling sound, inhaling and exhaling at one and the same time. It's kind of a condition of throat. After crying loud and for a long time, the human throat becomes scratchy. And the sound that comes out from the vocal cords isn't all that clear or a normal sound. So that kind of sound, it would be a very annoying sound. Everyone knows that the braying of donkey is a very annoying thing. So that way, the hell would be behaving and producing this sound, which is really, very agonizing and painful to hear. And this is if you have a scratchy throat, you can't speak very easily and you have difficulty speaking and even breathing. So such would be the condition with the hell on that day. Gurgling or very weird, no language, no other language besides Arabic can do justice with this word. How hard even you try to explain. You can't fully explain the meaning of Arabic words of Quran in your own languages. And the last word is tafur. Shahiq is what the hell would be doing. and the food is another, like wriggling, like tossing with pain, in a desperate condition, in a desperate situation, demanding more and more food or fuel. And what's going to be the food and fuel for the hellfire or the hell itself on that day? Human beings. And it will be, demanding more and more. Till Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put his foot on the hell. And it would still be crying. And it would be asking, Hal min mazid, Hal min mazid, Hal min mazid. Are there any more? Are there any more? Are there any more? So that would be, it looks as if that really hell is a monster. And this is how it would be behaving like mad, in a weird, in a very strange way, that even human imagination and visualization fails. But the picture we are able to make or create in our minds is that of horror. A picture that really upsets us. And then the lesson to carry home is that we all have to do something in this worldly life of ours to save ourselves from this situation. But it is really very unfortunate that although we keep on reading and understanding and reciting the Quran day in and day out, still we are not the kind of ideal, believers that we might have been. And I keep on telling, or I keep on referring to this fact that after reading or understanding the Quran, there is much improvement shown in human beings. Like they have the true or the right faith. They learn how to, pray. And through prayer, they can win the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be on good terms with Him. But the one department in which we fail badly is dealing with other human beings. This is something like a serious problem of ourselves. And we need to improve in this department of our life. Because pride is something, arrogance is something that would be treated with great humiliation on the day of judgment. And only the fire, the flames of hell are the fit place for an arrogant mind. So may Allah save us from all these, moral evils and weaknesses of character and personality. And may Allah allow us righteousness, and may Allah make it easy for us to be on the path, on the way, by walking on which we can please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if we look into ourselves, we will find so much corruption, so much evil still be there. So we have to keep improving ourselves, and may Allah help us all. And with this, the translation and explanation of the ayat comes to an end. And I think Amreen will carry on doing the Tajweed lesson, and maybe she's interested in having your feedback, and she would maybe invite you to recite your lesson to her. So it's over from me now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, over to you once again.
Wa alaikum assalam. Jazakallah, ma'am.